Hi, my name is Karen Levin. I will be going over our simulation results for MG733. Our group name was HR Solutions, and my teammates were Kimberly and Ashley. As our team, HR Solutions, began to plan for the year's budget ahead, we set our goals and strategies. The first part of our goals were the situation. Where are we now? The firm has a well laid out human resources department, despite the fact it harbors a number of deficiencies in implementation of its roles. So therefore, our first goal was we are going to support internal promotion by building a strong team from the front line to upper leadership. Across the 8 quarters, we promoted and also hired. We found some success with morale in doing so. We also found that we made a commitment to training, that this should be done by finding the gaps internally and having its checks and balances systems when hiring new employees. In this, we raised our training budget on a quarterly basis. This did increase our training, it did increase our morale, and our supervisors did begin to feel like they had solid support. We increased morale by doing many things through appreciation programs, monetary incentives, and departmental celebrations. This was an overall non-cost dependent morale booster. The firm also had done a lot of departmental things in fulfilling the mandates. We also had the department was able to acquire and train the available employees, as each department offers on-the-job training to its attached employees. This is a positive strategy, as the employees are able to acquire centralized skills and are geared to achievement. We also, in our strategic part of planning, we identified the goals and objectives that the firm needs to clearly identify and arrange its goals in an order of priority. We found that there may be some disorganization amongst leadership due to a lack of training, so therefore we increased management training. Our budget for that increased periodically over the course of the 1 to 8 time period. This is crucial as it helps in allocation of your resources to the most important and urgent task. In addition, the firm is able to have a well-defined course of action. We created an action plan. We decided who in the departments is responsible for carrying out the assigned actions. When considering our week-to-week objectives, we did look at what levels of leadership, whether it be our top level or our mid-level leadership, and we looked and considered their training. In addition to this, we also considered the fact that we may need to take our frontline team and then create a pipeline into development for those individuals. We also decided that we were going to communicate to all the departments that the goals of the HR department and what they need from each department head to make it happen. We made clear updates and communications, and we clarified that they should be made every quarter, and we would evaluate those processes. HR Solutions, Inc. found that staffing was a key element to our success, whether it was for building morale, training, support for individuals either from part-time to the full-time support, or for the level 1s in support of the upper levels. So as we went through, we decided that all internal candidates would be evaluated with a primary consideration given to them before considering a new hire. In the aspect of building morale, we felt that should our staff see that we were promoting from within, that they would find that we felt secure in their abilities and their knowledge and skill set to then become leaders within the organization. In addition, in building that pipeline, that supported upper leadership should we lose someone in additional levels. We did several promotions from a part-time to a job level 1. We did do some new hires, but we also did promotions at each level across the quarter of the entire time between levels 1 and 8. It is believed that the training was a key part of this being a success. In addition to it built quality control, as promoting individuals from within, they already knew the operation and had the ability to move up. From hiring from outside, we felt that they would bring a new, clear mindset. So the importance of staffing is actually, it affects every aspect of the decision-making process throughout, whether it be budgeting, training, promotion, or staff support. On this slide, you can see where we began and how we ended. There were a few things that we actually struggled with quite a bit. Our employees were always very happy with their benefit package. We did struggle with keeping our percentages up when it came to our female employees as well as our minorities. We found that if we hired more at the level 1, that there would be more employees, but not always have that higher percentage that we were striving for. At times we did find that the absenteeism was a struggle. However, when we created more training where we felt that if individuals were better trained in the safety area, that we would have less absent employees due to the fact that they were not out due to injury. Our turnover rate did fluctuate quite a bit over time. There were quarters where things went very well, and then there were quarters where we did find that our turnover was a little high. In the last quarter, quarter 8, our morale did drop. We dropped to a ranking of 2. However, in comparing notes over the course of the 8 quarters, what we found was there wasn't enough consistency within the actual giving of benefits, pay raises, and things along those lines. At the very beginning, we did create, add the grievance policy and program. In adding that, we did find that our grievances went down. That also affected our turnover. Therefore, there were less people that had a harborance of maybe some ill things that had happened, and they could bring that forward, and they did feel like they had an outlet to address those. If you look at our accident rate, we did diminish that rate exponentially. That is due to the fact that when we invested in our training, we really invested in safety. We put in checks and balances and had supervisors to overlook this. That way we could consider the fact that those individuals were watching over the training and also making sure that our employees were producing in a safe manner. Our productivity, it did ebb and flow. It was at roughly at 200, and then at the ending was at 233. We did find this a little bit of a challenge. We were working through and trying to make sure that we were successful in getting out high quality products. The biggest factor that we did find a challenge in was our unit labor cost. We worked on this considerably. However, again, it did ebb and flow. So in that, we did all the things in trying to put in money in towards training for quality. Again, that's also, I feel, impacted by your morale as well as absenteeism. The last slide here on the bottom, you will see how we progressed over the course of the time from beginning through the end of quarter 8. HR Solutions worked very hard in addressing any issues that we felt. We had an open discussion as employee HR professionals. HR Solutions, Inc. made several decisions over the course of the 8 quarters. Some of those key decisions were how to let our teams manage themselves. We had decided that our teams could do the jobs and the incentive would be based on how they handled themselves. We decided this after reflecting on the 2021 year of facing a global pandemic. While individual incentives are absolutely a morale booster and an overall reward, what we found was in a situation where a lot of individuals were working home and finding themselves in situations where maybe meeting those incentive goals was not a possibility. We decided that we would allow our teams to work together, therefore creating a possibility of receiving those incentives. We felt this would boost their morale, which we also found incredibly important to the success of the company. Other key aspects that we felt were incredibly important to making our HR department and company successful was to address the issue of training. Overall, we continually added to our training budget for each level. From level 1 to level 5, we increased our training budget so that each individual would feel supported and the department as a whole would feel supported. We did receive notes from mid-level supervisors where they felt like they needed more training. We also found there were places that our part-timers were eclipsing our full-timers, and the full-timers began to be concerned about their jobs. Therefore, we created more full-time positions, and that boosted our morale. At the time of adding any benefits, we found that our scores went up and that our teams were happier. We incorporated things like employee-supported retirement funds. We created a tuition refund at the end of the year program. We also added programs to help individuals deal with any grievances. Each individual would be given the opportunity to acquire healthcare, visual, and dental. HR Solutions strived very hard to create a successful year of growth in the HR department to include those training aspects, development aspects, benefits, increasing morale, and creating a teamwork environment.